What's going on, boys? In this video, I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I would do if I had to build my dream physique from scratch. I'm going to be giving you guys everything that I wish I knew when I was first starting out in the gym, so I could have saved years and years of time, years and years of making mistakes, years and years of trials and tribulations, because it's 2026 and first time I got a gym membership was 2016, right? Now, I've been on and off inside the gym, right? I've had inconsistent years. I've had a lot of inconsistencies. And for the past 5 years, almost 6 now, I've been very consistent, not missing any days, staying true to my gym schedule, staying true to my diet. But before then, I was inconsistent because I just simply didn't know what exactly to do. I followed fitness influencers' advice. I watched like Instagram videos, YouTube videos. Every single coach was telling me different things, and I didn't know how to actually piece the information together to get my dream physique. Now this physique right here, this was me in 2021, I believe. 2021, this was already some years of lifting under my belt, but I didn't look anything like what I look like now. And so because I didn't have the right information, and I didn't have the implementation, which is most important. So I'm going to give you guys everything that you need to build your dream physique and exactly how I would do it if I had to start from scratch all over again and get my dream physique as fast as possible. So let's get right into it. Make sure you get a pen and a paper out and take notes, because this video will change your life. So we're going to start off with the training aspect. I would always train and following different splits that I saw on Instagram, that I saw on YouTube, quick six-pack shortcuts, shoulder workouts, right? I would just follow like random videos, but I wouldn't have a set plan, right? And the reason why I didn't have a set plan is because I had no clear destination. So the very first thing that I would do if I wanted to achieve my dream physique again is I would set a clear destination. I would understand what exactly I'm trying to achieve. So right now, I have my dream physique, right? I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to get stronger, always trying to be, put back on a little bit more muscle, but I have my dream physique right now. So this is like the physique that I've always wanted. So if you are in my shoes that I used to be in, you need to understand, what do you actually want to achieve? Do you want to have a lean athletic physique? Do you want to be like a mass bodybuilder? Do you want to just have like a swimmer's body? Do you want to just be able to see your abs? Or do you want more of like a stocky build? You don't really care about abs. You just want to have like big arms and big traps, right? Figure out what you want to achieve. You understand? Find a celebrity, find someone who is well known, who has a physique that you want to have, and just visualize it, right? Because if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to be able to actually get there, right? I need to know where I'm going when I hop in my car for me to actually get to a destination, right? I'm not going to just go to Mexico if I don't know that I'm trying to get to Mexico. You understand? So set a clear destination. That's the very first thing that I would do. Second thing is I would get an in-body test done. And I did this very late into my fitness journey. My first in-body test I got around, I think, 2023. And, it was good, but I would get it done as fast as possible. If you don't know what an in-body test is, it's basically a test that tells you the composition of your body, how much muscle mass you have, how much body fat percentage you have, like how much muscle you have in each limb of your body, right? How much water weight you hold. It tells you your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, how many calories you burn at rest. And it's very important to know where you're at right now, because you already set a destination. Now it's time to figure out, where are you right now, right? Because the only way you can actually measure progress is if you have a benchmark, right? When we go to school, there's a reason why they make us take a benchmark test in the beginning of the semester, is because you need to know where you're at to figure out how much progress you've actually made, right? So the easiest way to do this is an in-body test, and it's not expensive at all. You could go on Google, search up in-body test near me. My gym has an in-body test machine, and it's about like $25 on average per test, right? You could get a DEXA scan, but DEXA scans are expensive. They're like $200. If you have the means, go for it. They're more accurate. But in-body test is pretty accurate as well, and it's a lot cheaper, right? Just keep in mind, it's not 100% accurate, but all that matters is that you have a benchmark, right? Once I got the in-body test, I know where I'm trying to go. Obviously, I'm going to need a structured program. Now, thankfully, we live in an information age. We live in an age where we have AI. When I was starting out in the gym, 2016, there was no ChatGPT. There was no AI, right? There was just fitness influencers and YouTube videos and word of mouth. You understand? So I would either use ChatGPT. I would go to ChatGPT. I would tell them my height, my weight. I would input my in-body test results. I would tell ChatGPT exactly what type of physique I'm trying to achieve and in how long. And then I would ask it to create me a program, a workout program, and a diet plan to follow on a week-by-week basis, right? ChatGPT will do that for you, right? So you could do it like that. Only problem with ChatGPT is that ChatGPT can't help you in those times where you get stuck, in those times where like you just need that extra boost, in those times where you just need accountability. Because a lot of times we have all the information, but we lack the implementation and we lack the accountability, which is what I lacked back then, right? My friends weren't holding me accountable. I didn't really have many people to hold me accountable. And that's why I had to take years and years of time to build up my discipline to be able to hold myself accountable. And that's why it took me so long. So I would either use ChatGPT or invest in some sort of program, some sort of coaching from somebody who's done what I'm trying to achieve. Looking back at it, I would definitely go with a coach for the simple fact that I've hired coaches for my business, and it's literally put years of work into a short amount of time because you're learning from somebody else's mistakes. You no longer have to go through your own mistakes, right? The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. And when I started out, I was learning from my mistakes, right? I didn't even think about getting a trainer, right? Most guys, we think that we can, getting in shape, that's like a manly thing. We can get it done. But then you end up wasting so much time, so many years, all because you lack accountability, you lack a structured plan. So I would either do ChatGPT or just get a coach, right? But once I got my structured program, I'm going to have to find a way to actually track the weights that I'm doing, right? So I would go create a sort of system for myself where I can track the weights. You can do it on a pen and paper. The only problem with a pen and paper is that it's outdated. You can't really do many calculations. So I would go on Microsoft Excel and track my weights there, right? I would create a spreadsheet with every single exercise that I have to do. I would log in the weights, the reps, the sets, and then I would do different formulas and calculations to see how I'm progressing over time, okay? After I'm tracking my weights, daily cardio. I wish someone told me this, right? But luckily I was, very young, so I was walking a lot, was still getting in my steps. But I used to think like cardio was not important. A lot of bodybuilders would say, oh, you don't need cardio to build muscle, but you need cardio to be healthy and you need cardio to get lean. And the easiest form of cardio is going to be just walking. Steady state walking. You don't need to be running marathons. I wouldn't run any marathons. I wouldn't, you could go on maybe a run a week if you really want to. But for the simple fact of just getting my dream physique, just getting 10K steps plus per day would be enough, right? So it really depends on where you're at right now. But where I was at, getting around 10 to 12K steps would have been enough for me. Some people may need more than that, and some people may need less. But 10K is like the baseline for most people. So no matter where you're at, you should be getting at least 10K steps per day, right? And as I'm training, as I'm doing progressive overload, because I'm tracking my weights, I should be increasing the weights every single week. That's how you grow, right? That's how you grow. You increase the weight, or you increase the reps, or you increase the sets, or you increase time under tension, all of these different factors that you can make the exercise more challenging. And that's how you actually stimulate muscle growth. But I didn't really know that back then, right? I just thought that, oh, if I stay consistent, I'm going to do the 25s every single week, bicep curls, and my biceps are going to grow. I wasn't tracking the weights, so I had no idea if I was actually going up, right? I was just winging it, going inside the gym and winging it, picking up, like, I would walk around the machines in the gym and look at the body part that they target. And if I'm doing chest, if I'm doing shoulders, oh, I would just do all the chest machines. Not care about what weight I'm using, right? I would just listen to my body. But if you want results as fast as possible, which most people do, right? I'm sure you're watching this video because you want great results, but you want to get as quick as you can. Well, if you want to get as quick as you can, you got to make sure you have data. You have no data, you have nothing to work off of. If you're not tracking, you're slacking. So as I'm doing that, as I'm doing the progressive overload, I would train everything balanced. So I wouldn't neglect certain muscle groups. This is a mistake that I made in the very beginning of my journey, because I was like obsessed with doing chest and like biceps. That's like all I used to train when I first got in the gym. Chest, biceps, maybe a little bit of legs. And I was actually neglecting my shoulders, right? I had a decent chest, had decent little triceps, biceps, but I didn't have shoulders, and I didn't have strong shoulders. And it was until I actually dislocated my shoulder, my right shoulder, in my sleep. Yes, in my sleep. I woke up. It was 3 a.m. and I woke up. My shoulder was literally hanging out, right? One of the worst pains I felt in my life. My mom, she rushed me to the hospital. They had to put my shoulder back in. I had like a group of nurses around me watching me because they've never seen a guy like dislocate his shoulder in his sleep. And it was because I wasn't training the body parts in a balanced way. I was just prioritizing certain muscle groups and only hitting those. But if I would have been being smart and really prioritized my health, really prioritized stability, really prioritized, other aspects than just the pretty muscles, or at least the muscles I thought were pretty, then my shoulder would have never dislocated, right? So this is very important. If you don't train certain muscle groups, you risk injury, you risk imbalances. And as you get older, they're going to come out, right? I'm 24 years old right now, and thank God I don't have any serious injuries, but I can tell when there's an imbalance. I can tell when my muscles aren't firing like they should be. And if you only train certain muscle groups and neglect others, over time, you're going to start to see that you walk different, your posture is different, you have certain aches. It's because you neglected those muscle groups and you didn't work on your entire body as like a compound machine. So, speaking of compound machines, this is how I would structure my training. Because, like I mentioned to you guys, what I used to do was walk inside the gym. I would have like 3 of my bros. We would just mess around in the gym, not really know what we're doing. None of us are in shape. And we would be like, yo, what do you feel like working out today? Chest? Okay, cool. We're doing chest. Boom. Look around the gym, find the machines that say chest, and we would just do those like 4 sets, 15 reps for like every exercise. And while I got like very little results, I didn't get the best results, and I didn't get the results I wanted, and I didn't get them fast, right? Because I didn't structure my training properly. So this is how I would structure the training instead. This is exactly what I do now, right? Maintaining and growing my dream physique right now. So this is what I do. 50% of my training session for the day is focused around weighted calisthenics or compound movements. So let's say I'm doing push, right? If I'm doing push, I'm starting off my workout with weighted dips or some sort of incline press. Two different compound movements. Usually I always start out with weighted dips. That's a calisthenics move. And then I move on to incline press. Then I would do kettlebells, right? So 50% of the workout is weighted calisthenics and compound movements because that targets the most amount of muscle groups at once. That's when you're going to get the most growth, the most bang for your buck. Where a lot of people go wrong is that, and where I went wrong, is that I would start out with the machines, which you should only be doing about 10% of, right? Which is only what I do 10% of. People look at me, they're like, damn, bro, how do you have this physique and you don't do the machines, you don't do the cables that much? Yeah, it's because I focus on the exercises that give me the most ROI. I wouldn't be in the gym for 3 hours, right? I would keep my training to less than 90 minutes. If I only have 90 minutes or less to train, well, then I'm not going to be wasting my time with exercises that are not going to give me as great results. I'm going to focus on exercises that give me the best results. So 50% weighted calisthenics or compound movements. If it's a pull day, I'm doing weighted pull-ups. Always weighted pull-ups, different pull-up variations, weighted chin-ups. And then I'll move on to kettlebells. Kettlebells, guys. When I discovered kettlebells, honestly, my life changed. Because not only did my physique change, but the way I moved my body, the way I functioned throughout life was so much different. Because kettlebells, they work on everything at once. They work on multiple muscle groups and they work on skills. So they work on like athletic skills. So explosiveness, stability, range of motion, right? Cardio, endurance, all of these things, like it's all together in one exercise, right? That's why they're so great. That's why athletes use kettlebells all the time, right? It's super versatile. And so you're not just going to be in the gym building a nice physique. You're going to have a great physique and an athletic one. So when you're outside the gym, one thing that used to stop me all the time was I would be super sore after the gym. I would be super stiff after the gym. And it would just be like this constant cycle of going to the gym, lifting weights, being stiff, and outside the gym, I would barely be able to move. Now, guys, I move fantastic, right? Could always be better, but I move a lot better. I'm a lot more mobile. I'm a lot more flexible than I used to be when I was just doing machines and bodybuilding type of exercises, right? The physique that I have now, the physique that a lot of guys strive for, they try to get them using rigid bodybuilding movements. But I'm telling you guys, that's not how I built it, right? When you focus on weighted calisthenics and kettlebells, the aesthetics, the vtaper, that physique that you want, all of that is a side effect of the training, right? And as a result, you're also functional and you're athletic, right? So I would do kettlebells and I would decide like, am I doing hypertrophy or I'm doing athletic based movement? So in this picture right here, this is more of a hypertrophy type of movement, right? Because yes, I'm working a lot of stability with my lower back, with my core, with my whole posterior chain. I'm doing a Z press basically right here, kettlebell press with my legs out. It's working my entire trunk and it's working my shoulder. So this is like a challenging type of hypertrophy. It's not super isolated, which is fine, right? Because it's going to work, once again, all different aspects, which is going to carry over into other exercises as well, right? If I'm trying to do an athletic based movement, I would do like kettlebell swings. That's going to work on my explosiveness, or kettlebell snatches, right? Explosiveness and fast twitch muscle fibers. The last 25% of the workout, I would leave to the cables and the machines. This is what I call accessories. So 15% is going to be like cable work. I'm going to get like, if I'm doing shoulders, right, I would do like a cable lateral raise. You understand? Boom, isolate that shoulder, no swinging, just straight up isolation. You don't need to start off your workout with this. You need to fry the muscle first. work on as much as possible in the beginning of your workout while you have the most energy. And then the accessories are easy. You could go light on the accessories, right? I go heavy on the weighted calisthenics. I go heavy on my compound movements. I go heavy on my kettlebells. And then with the cables and machines, I don't have to go as heavy. So I get to do more reps. I get to really feel that contraction, that squeeze. And that's what truly matters, right? So you get the best of both worlds doing this type of split. You get the athleticism, you get the superhero physique, and you get the aesthetics from the bodybuilding type of movements as well. So, and then I would finish up 10%, just do some machines. Machines are great for this one thing, pushing past failure and avoiding injury, right? If it's a good machine. If it's a good machine, ideally, like all the angles are correct. You don't have to worry about stability. You don't have to worry about, the weight flying out of your hand. It's great for pushing past failure. You could always just easily drop set it, right? And push yourself, have a spotter, safely spot you throughout that machine and push yourself past failure. If you structure your workouts like this, and if I used to do it like that, man, my physique would have been, who knows, 3 times better by the time now, right? So this is the way that I would structure the workout. And this is in chronological order. So I would start off with the weighted calisthenics and compounds, move on to a kettlebell exercise, move on to a cables, and move on to the machines, and then I'm done. Nutrition. This is where I really made the most mistakes. Because, yes, I was in the gym, hitting the machines, lifting moderate weight, right? I was going to failure when I was in the gym, but I had no idea about nutrition. I just ate whatever my mom made, or I would go out since I started off in the gym when I was back in high school. I used to just go out with the boys, get some Subway, get some Chipotle, get some pizza. I had a lot of pizza in my high school days. I had no idea about nutrition. So I was in the gym, tearing down, destroying my muscles, and then not giving my body the proper fuel to actually recover and grow the muscle, which is the biggest reason why I wasn't getting the results I wanted. Simply nutrition. You guys always hear abs are made in the kitchen. Everything is made in the kitchen. Muscle is made in the kitchen, right? Muscle's not made in the gym. You break down the muscle in the gym, and then you recover from the food, from the rest, which I'm going to get into also. So as far as nutrition, this is what I would do. Number 1 is I would get a full blood work panel. I never did this until later on. By a few years ago, I got my first full blood work panel. I would find out what are my testosterone levels and what are all my nutrient deficiencies. Because especially if you're not eating lean whole food diet, chances are you have some sort of deficiencies. They're deficient in some sort of vitamins, and your testosterone may be low. If your testosterone is low, you are literally limiting the amount of muscle growth that you can have naturally. There's a reason why all the pro bodybuilders, right, all the guys who want to get super jacked, they start to hop on testosterone and they inject it externally, right? But if you can maximize this naturally, you can get similar results in a natural fashion, which is what I'm doing now, right? Which is what my nutrition is based on right now, right? But I never knew this. I didn't know about fucking optimizing for testosterone or worrying about nutrients. I just ate food, right? I was a teenage kid. So I would get a full blood work panel, get my testosterone checked, SHBG, cortisol, and luteinizing hormone, right? Those, and then all the vitamins. And, your doctor will break it down for you. But if your testosterone levels, depends what age you are, ideally, I would get them up to at least 600-700, at least 600-700 and higher, right? You can have 500 level testosterone, 400 level testosterone, but you're not going to be maximizing your true potential, right? And who knows, some of you guys may be in the 300s or 200s, and in that case, you need to get on it, right? You need to fix that ASAP. So Once I got that full blood work panel, this is like the benchmark for the nutrition. Just the same way we did the in-body test for the training, this is the benchmark for the nutrition. I'm going to focus on my nutrition heavy, more than the gym, right? I can not go to the gym for a whole month, and if I eat the way that I'm about to break down for you guys right now, if I eat that same way for an entire month and not going to the gym, I'm still going to maintain a majority of the muscle mass and strength that I have. In fact, actually, last month, the past 2 months, I've been going through a bit of an injury, actually, and I've been slowing down on some workouts. I haven't been able to hit the gym as much, but I still maintained majority of my strength, majority of my muscle mass, and I got right back to where I was, and even better, way quicker, all because I was still locked down with the nutrition. So you can out diet bad training, but you can't out train a bad diet. Just remember that. A lot of the reason, like the biggest reason why a lot of you guys are not in the shape that you want to be in is because your nutrition sucks. You just feed yourself bullshit all the time. So this is what to do. 90% of the time, I would focus on clean, single ingredient whole foods. Clean, single ingredient whole foods. What does that mean? Well, simple as that. It's one ingredient. So avocado, that's one ingredient, right? There's no ingredients in avocado. Eggs, one ingredient. Meat, one ingredient. Chicken, one ingredient. Fish, one ingredient. Bananas, one ingredient, right? Berries, one ingredient. These are what whole foods are, right? When I say clean, I would go for the organic, pasture-raised eggs, things like that, right? Because spending that a little extra money on organic goes a long way, especially with the eggs, right? Especially with the eggs. I used to eat those like regular grocery store eggs. They were cheaper, but you're eating all of that stress because these eggs, these chickens are caged up, right? They have crazy high cortisol levels, and you're eating those eggs. You're basically consuming the cortisol that they have, that they give to their children, to the eggs, and you're consuming it, right? So the best investment that you can make is inside your health, right? When you choose to cheap out on the food that you buy, you're basically telling yourself that, hey, you don't find your health, you don't find your fitness goal serious, you don't take it serious, right? It's not important to you. And so, of course, you're not going to see the results that you want to because you choose to go for the option that's like $2 less. Whole time, if you just spent a little extra money on the clean foods, you would probably live longer, have more energy to make more money, and just be a well-off, healthy person. So 90% of the time, I'm eating clean, single ingredient whole foods, and I would optimize my diet specifically for testosterone, just like we spoke about. So in order to do this, this is what I do now. 10 eggs a day. Yes, 10 eggs a day. Guys, I'm telling you guys right now, don't believe me, just try this. Try this for a month straight, 10 eggs a day. This is going to change your life. I'm telling you right now. This is going to increase your testosterone like crazy because of the cholesterol content in the eggs. A lot of people run from cholesterol. I actually used to do that as well. I used to think, oh, cholesterol is bad for you. Whole time, I was avoiding the cholesterol from the eggs, but I was still eating pasta, pizza, all of these carbs, which carbs raise your cholesterol, and they raise it in a bad way, right? There's the good cholesterol, there's the bad cholesterol, but cholesterol at the end of the day is a building block for testosterone, right? Your body literally needs it to create testosterone. So 10 eggs a day, as long as it's high quality eggs, do that, right? Red meat, I would suggest 1 pound of red meat per day. I'm 5'7.5", 163 pounds. That's how much I eat. If you're bigger than me, if you're taller than me, if you're like 6 foot tall, I would recommend maybe 1.5 pounds a day, right? If you're shorter than me, you could go for like 0.75 pounds, right? But red meat, full of micronutrients. It's the most micronutrient dense type of meat, right? I used to do a lot of chicken, and chicken, it's not that bad, right? You can still get jacked with chicken, but the problem with chicken is that it's super lean and it doesn't have fats and it doesn't have many micronutrients. Excuse me. doesn't have many micronutrients. Micronutrients are going to be more important than macros. I used to focus on protein. I would go to GNC every single month, spend hundreds of dollars, even though I didn't know anything about nutrition. I didn't know anything about training. They sold me. I was buying the big tubs of protein powder. I was buying the creatine. I was buying mass gainers because I was super skinny. I was trying to put on weight. But all it did was make me inflamed, not help me put on muscle, and make me lethargic. Why? Because I was in my mind, I thought that I was getting the necessary protein for the day, but I wasn't hitting my micronutrients. And the micronutrients is what's actually going to give you energy. It's what's actually going to optimize your metabolism to burn fat and build muscle. And it's what's going to actually increase your testosterone, which is going to give you energy and build more muscle, right? So focus on micronutrient rich foods, right? If you do the whole food diet, you're going to have the micronutrients you need. And then I would cut processed foods as much as possible. Processed foods used to be my favorite thing. I remember I would literally wake up in the middle of the night, go to my kitchen and eat Chips Ahoy cookies at like 2 a.m. I would have like 3 of those chocolate chip soft Chips Ahoy cookies, put them in my mouth, and then go right back to sleep. It was the weirdest thing ever. It's like my body, like, I don't know why I woke up in the middle of the night just to eat cookies. Some fat ass shit, but that's what I was doing. Do you understand? All of those processed foods adds up. All the juices, all the sodas, all the pizzas, right? The frozen pizzas, the frozen foods, all of that adds up. So I would limit processed foods as much as possible, okay? Then I would also track food so I know exactly how much I'm eating per day. Since I already have a structured plan, right, either through ChatGPT or my coach, I already know the weights that I'm doing, right? I'm tracking my weights. I'm doing progressive overload. Well, now I need to track my nutrition as well. I never used to track, guys. Never used to do it. Tracking will by far do one of the best results as far as speeding up your gym results as fast as possible. Do want results quick, track your food, right? The beautiful part about tracking is that once you track for like a certain while, you get a good understanding of, what foods are good for you, what foods you have to eat, how much you have to eat to hit your goals, and then you don't have to track anymore. But when you have like a very specific goal in mind, you need to track. Like you need to know what's going inside your body and what's going out, right? So I would track my food. I would get a scale. If you're doing whole food diet, it's super easy to track. Like you don't have to count dozens of ingredients. You just have to, okay, boom, I had 6 eggs, boom, put in 6 eggs into my fitness pal. Oh, okay, I had 1 pound of grass-fed beef, put that into my fitness pal. It's so easy to track when your diet is not complicated, okay? Then I would focus on micros over macros. Macros are important. Obviously, I would be getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but I wouldn't do this through protein powders. I wouldn't do this through supplements. I would do this through whole foods only, right? Micronutrients are going to get you jacked. They're going to improve your hormones. They're going to make you burn more fat. And they're going to just improve your overall quality of life in general, okay? Now, a big thing that was in my culture, right? In my family culture, is to have bread with every meal. Our breakfast used to be like 4 or 5 different slices of bread with like some sort of processed food spread. So like cream cheese, cottage cheese, like some sort of like spreads, right? Jam, things like that. That used to be the breakfast that we used to eat. Bread for breakfast, bread for lunch with the lunch, bread for dinner, and then bread as a snack, like sandwiches. Guys, bread is going to make you fat if you're not careful. In fact, when I see guys cut off bread, that's when they get the most lean, right? If you truly love it, just limit it. You understand? That's what I would do. I wouldn't have it with every meal. I would just have it in specific times. I would eat for performance. So I'm not just gonna have bread for no reason because I don't need it. I don't need the carbs. If I'm about to work out, sure, maybe I'll have some bread. If it's post-workout, I need to replenish my glucose, sure, maybe I'll have some bread. But I'm not gonna have it with every meal for no reason. You guys have to be cautious about what you're putting in your mouth. You understand? Avoid the bread. You're literally like, you can go 200 grams over your carb limit if you're not careful with the bread. Guys will be like, yo, I'm eating clean, I'm doing this, I'm tracking my macros. Oh, are you tracking the bread that you're eating? Because I guarantee you, you're probably eating around 400 or 500 grams of carbs a day with all that bread. So be very careful. And then 10% of the time, I would eat whatever I want. Now, back in the day, it would probably be like 90% of the time I ate whatever I want, and then 10% of the time I ate clean, whole foods. This time, like, you gotta switch it up. I would eat whatever I want 10% of the time. This is gonna make it more sustainable because, guys, at the end of the day, there's no point unless you're like a bodybuilder and you have a competition coming up that your physique depends on every single macro that you consume. There's no point into being a complete robot and not enjoying yourself once in a while. The beautiful part about the 90-10 diet is that when you stay dialed in 90% of the time, 10% of the time, it doesn't matter what you eat. You could have seed oils. You could have, look right here, I'm having dessert, right? This was like a chocolate lava cake with some ice cream. Boom. You could have this. You could have this maybe even once a week, once you're already at a certain level with your physique. Not when you're starting out, but you can have this because you deserved it and because it's not going to affect you. You already have systems in place to keep you on the right track. That's the best part about it, right? That's the best part about it. And you're going to find that you don't even want to eat like super unhealthy things anyway. Because when you eat like this is my breakfast. This was like 7 eggs, avocado, some fruits, some raw cheese, some dark chocolate, some raw honey on top. Guys, this looks amazing and it tastes amazing. Tastes amazing. Right? This is what my grocery haul looks like. I look forward to actually eating these meals. So I don't just eat bland chicken and rice all day like some fitness influencers will tell you. And then all week I'm thinking about my cheat meal. I don't do that because I actually enjoy the meals that I have. But when I do want to go out, when I'm with my boys, when I'm with a chick, if I want to have some dessert, I'm having that dessert because I deserved it and because I have systems. Now, big one, sleep and recovery. Guys, sleep is right up there with nutrition, right? I say like training is the least important, to be honest. Training is obviously important. You have to train hard. You have to train the right way, stimulate muscle growth. But you're going to tear all that muscle down and then not even recover properly. That's why you're always sore. That's why your muscles don't recover. That's why you don't see any growth. And that's why you hit plateaus because your recovery sucks. And my recovery used to suck. When I first started hitting the gym, I would get like 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, like staying up, playing video games, watching movies, watching Netflix. And so, of course, I wasn't seeing the results I wanted. So this is what I would do instead. And this is majority of what I try to do. Right? I'm break down like what I do now. I would optimize for deep sleep and aim for 7 to 8 hours total. Guys, life gets in the way sometimes. Right now, I'm doing like 6 hours of sleep, but I'm still maintaining the best physique I've ever had, right? Because of the systems that I'm going to break down, right? So obviously, you want 7, 8 hours of sleep, right? If you don't have a reason to stay up, like for me, I'm staying up every day, making sure I hit all the needle moving tasks for my business, for this coaching that I give you guys to make videos, do everything, all the client work. So sometimes I have to stay up, right? That's the sacrifice that I'm willing to make. But I can make it because every single aspect of my life is dialed in, right? But if I was starting from scratch, I would heavily prioritize sleep, specifically deep sleep. Deep sleep, that's when you're going to actually recover. And this is how you do it. I would have a sleep routine. You always hear about morning routines, right? Putting your face in ice bucket, right? Cold water, rubbing banana peels on your face. Well, you need a sleep routine too. Number one is you want to limit blue light. So you see these glasses right here? These are the same glasses I have right here. Boom. I throw these on 1 hour before bed. 1 hour before bed, I'm putting these on. These block out all blue light. And the thing about blue light, guys, is that it stops melatonin production in your body, right? When your body sees the blue light, when your eyes see the blue light, it's telling your brain that it's still daylight out. So it activates your nervous system to keep you up, right? It keeps you up, keeps the cortisol high, right? When you're on your phone late night, when you're on TikTok, when you're watching movies, you're disrupting your sleep and you don't even know it. So if you're gonna stay up with the blue light glasses. Make sure you put them on 1 hour before bed. Then I would have my supplements, right, which I'm gonna break down. And then I would have 4 eggs, 4 out of the 10 eggs that I told you guys to have. I will have them 1 hour before bed. This is going to give me the necessary cholesterol I need to build testosterone while I sleep, because that's when testosterone is made. While you sleep. Muscle recovery happens while you sleep. All of the good stuff happens while you sleep. Right? So if you can give yourself the building blocks that is necessary to carry out the functions that you need to before bed, that's going to be the best. Right? Don't have a heavy meal before bed. That's going to disrupt your sleep. But 4 eggs, very easily to digest. I would do it 1 hour before bed to be safe. Right? And then a warm shower. Right? Warm shower for the simple fact that when you get out of that warm shower, your body is going to try to reach homeostasis. So your body is hot, right? And if you know anything about deep sleep, you have to be cold. Like you have to be at a cool temperature to get good deep sleep. So when your body's hot from that warm shower, it's going to actually drop your internal body temperature like past the baseline in order to reach that homeostasis, and that's going to actually provide you with better sleep, right? Because your internal body temperature is lower. And then, yes, something I do is I listen to brown noise from time to time. I would just go on YouTube, look up brown noise for sleep, and then I would keep that on my phone for the entire time. It helps block out like any noises. I live in New York City, so a lot of times like you hear all types of stuff from the windows. You hear people screaming, you hear claws, right? Sirens. And so the brown noise just helps me relax, helps me block out all the other noise, and keeps me good. Try it out. If you like it, go ahead with it. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do in my sleep routine. That's what I do now. As far as the supplement, magnesium biglycinate, right? This is going to severely increase your sleep. Like I'm telling you, this made a big difference in my sleep. I started having better dreams, like more vivid dreams, and I started waking up actually feeling like I had some sleep. Like I used to wake up and feel like I would get 8 hours of sleep sometimes and not even feel it. I would feel like I got 4. But if I'm taking magnesium biglycinate before bed, I could get 5 hours of sleep and feel as good as I did with 8, right? So that's the one supplement that I would recommend, right? If you could get the non-chelated version, that one is more high is absorbable. Okay, and then you want to sleep in a cool room. So this goes back to like that warm shower that I said. You want to make sure your room is cold, guys. When the temperature is cold, when your body temperature is cold, that's when you have the deepest sleep, right? That's why a lot of guys they say that, oh, you sleep better in the winter, right? You hibernate in the winter. It's because it's cooler, right? So if you can lower your thermostat, if you have to crack a window open, I wouldn't do AC because AC just spins around too many dust particles. It kind of like, it's not good for the air unless you have a really good AC. I would just crack a window open or lower the thermostat in your house, in your room, right? Or even take a step up a notch and get a cooling mattress that keeps your mattress cool, right? I don't have that, but maybe you guys want to try that out, right? Now, As far as recovery goes, guys, I used to spend like literally 3 hours a session in the gym 5 times a week. 5 times a week, 3 hours, 15 hours a week. That's a whole part-time job that I would spend inside the gym. And then I would wonder why I'm not seeing the results I want, why I'm still sore, right? While my chest is still sore 4 days later. It's because I was training for way too long, way too much, right? When you actually know what exercises to do and you have a structured plan, like the one that we spoke about in the beginning, you don't need more than 90 minutes, right? Weighted calisthenics, the pull-up bar is always open, dip bar is always open, right? You're good, right? You get a hold of that, you're good. 90 minutes or less, 1 hour and a half or less, 4 to 5 times a week. Just starting out, definitely I would recommend 4 times a week. And after like 3 years inside the gym, you could bump it up to 5 times a week. But don't do 2 hour sessions. Don't do 3 hour sessions. I see guys who be in the gym all day and that's why they look the way they look. It's because they spend way too long. They think more is more, but really more is less, right? And less is more. Now, some things that can amp up your recovery is going to be sauna, specifically at night. Get the sauna, is going to relax you. It's going to lower your blood pressure afterwards. It's going to promote the blood flow. Sauna is good. Cold plunge is good. You just have to know when to actually apply these certain routines, right? When to do the sauna, when to do the cold plunge. And then once in a while, I would get a massage, right? Guys, like, I'm not a massage type of person, but when I do get one, they help a lot, right? They help a lot. You have like tightness in your back, you have tightness in your muscles from training all the time. Massages help a lot, right? You're in the gym, you're pushing past failure, you're going hard. Massages can help, so I would invest in that as well. And then, I know you guys don't want to hear this, but yes, I would dedicate at least 10 minutes per day to stretching or yoga. This was one thing that I started doing kind of early in my fitness journey because I had a yoga class in college. Yes, a yoga class. And I was in the gym at the time. I was weightlifting and we would do the yoga and I noticed I feel way better. I feel way more mobile, way more flexible, right? My downstairs was good too. You feel me? Like my bedroom game went up too. And I felt like I got stronger. I got stronger because I had that better range of motion. I had better flexibility. I had better mobility, right? Yoga, stretching, super important. If you can make the time for it, it's going to give you a great ROI. You could always be warming up before you train. That's like a given, unless you want to injure yourself. But a lot of times we warm up before we train, but we neglect stretching after, right? Stretching after is also very important. And it's something that even to this day, I have to remind myself to do, but it always has great benefits. Now, let's get into the fun stuff. Hormone optimization. We already spoke about how important testosterone is to actually getting you your results, to actually feeling amazing, to actually giving you the most bang for your buck. So how do you actually optimize testosterone? I would optimize for not only high testosterone, but high healthy dopamine levels. Because dopamine is what's actually going to drive you to do those hard things that you don't want to do. You don't want to hit the gym, dopamine is going to drive you. You don't want to eat clean, dopamine is going to drive you. You don't want to do your stretching, dopamine is going to drive you. We live in a cheap dopamine world where every single second we can get a hit of dopamine just by checking the phone, just by checking some notifications, just by scrolling through TikTok. Boom, dopamine right in front of us, right? It's so easily accessible, and that's why our dopamine levels are so high, right? The baseline is so high. And so now it takes greater stimulation to get the same effect. So what we want to do is we want to bring up testosterone high as possible and bring dopamine and baseline levels as low as possible. When dopamine baseline levels are low, you have to do it low effort to get a greater reward. You understand? So how do we do this? First thing I would do is 30 minutes a day in the sun, minimum, right? Minimum. If you live in a place with a lot of sun, like year-round sun, you are super lucky. Take advantage of it. The sun is literally the universe's Powerball, right? It's gonna give you that straight up natural energy, right? It's gonna increase your testosterone from the vitamin D. It's gonna give you a tan. It's just gonna make you feel way better, right? That's why people go to the beach and they feel good. That's why people go to the pool and they feel good, right? That's why just like looking at the sun can make you feel instantly better because the sun will do that to you. So I would do 30 minutes a day in the sun minimum. You could do 15 in the morning, 15 in the afternoon. But I would try to do it if you can, ideally at the time of the highest UV. So the highest UV is just the highest UV index for the sun is when the rays are the most powerful. And I would just go on the weather app on the phone. And I would check what time is the sun going to be at the highest UV. And if you have a flexible schedule, that's when I would go on a walk. That's when I would get my steps in for the day, take my shirt off, boom, boom, I'm feeling good, right? Then whole food diet. I already spoke about this, but when you focus on whole foods, you prioritize red meat, eggs, and fruits. Micronutrients are going to be hit, and your testosterone is going to go up, and your dopamine levels are going to actually come back down too, because you're not relying on cheap dopamine from fast food. So that's very important as well, right? 10 eggs a day. We also spoke about this. Gonna give you the cholesterol you need. Guys, sometimes nowadays I'll be doing like 12 eggs a day like this. This is my picture. All these are my pictures. 12 eggs. Guys, like, well, every time I increase my egg intake, it's literally like the most natural steroid you can do, eating eggs. So what I would do is I would do 6 for breakfast or throughout the day, and then I would do 4 1 hour before bed. Always make sure that 4 is 1 hour before bed, because that's going to give you, like I mentioned, the cholesterol you need before bed to create the testosterone, and then the rest of the eggs I would just get throughout the day. So usually what I do is 6 in the morning, 4 at night, right? And then heavy compound lifts. Heavy compound lifts have been shown to increase testosterone the most, and that's what's drove my physique to get into this point, right? That's what's pushed me to be able to put up numbers like this, even though I'm not a power lifter and I'm not a bodybuilder, right? So I would focus on weighted dips, pull-ups, squats, sled pushes, amazing, and training legs twice a week. When you do the weighted calisthenics, that's going to give you that nice aesthetic physique. It's going to work all the major muscle groups at once. And it's going to give you like the most unnatural looking physique, if you know what I mean, right? Pull-ups, great for the back. Weighted dips, great for the chest, great for the triceps. Squats, great for the legs. Sled pushes, great for every day. And then training legs twice a week, because the legs are the largest muscle group in the body. So when you hit them with more volume, you're releasing more growth hormone and more testosterone. That's why you boys ever did like chance leg day, you might feel like a certain way, if you know what I mean, afterward. It's because your testosterone is going up after the leg day, right? I had legs this morning and I feel great, right? It's nighttime right now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling charged up. I'm making this video. Hit legs, I'm telling you. Now, this is unconventional method, but join the gym with attractive women. Yes, join the gym with attractive women. And when I first hit the gym, man, that gym was full of like old people. Yeah, like old people, man. Like old people and like random guys. Like barely any chicks in my first gym. I had to get out of there. Right? I had to get out of there. If you're gonna choose a gym, there's 2 options. Either choose one with the baddest chicks, or choose one with like the guys who are just straight up roid heads and like they go super hard in the gym, right? Because they'll motivate you, and being in that environment can increase your testosterone as well. But spending time with attractive women has literally been shown to increase your testosterone. You're put into your masculine frame. You increase your masculine energy when you're around attractive women, right? Guys, I'm doing my weighted pull-ups. I ask a girl, listen, hold on to hold on to my waist, let me do a pull-up with you. You think that's not going to increase my motivation, my drive? That's going to make me want to keep going to the gym. When you can do things like this, never gonna want to miss a day of the gym in your life, right? So spend more time with attractive women. Don't be the guy in the gym like, approaching every single woman. Obviously, you gotta focus on your workout, but don't be afraid to speak to them. Don't be afraid to be around them. That will give you the motivation and the drive that you need. And then sleep is probably the biggest thing you can do for your testosterone, right? Because that's what you need. You need the recovery. That's when it's actually made, while you sleep. So 8 hours quality sleep. We already broke down how to do that. And I would also include a combat sport. Combat sport, one of the most primal things you can do is fight. So either pick up, boxing, kickboxing, MMA, something like that. Something where you can like take your masculine energy outside of the gym and just unleash it, right? Unleash your anger. This is going to increase your testosterone like crazy. Guys, there's dozens of studies done showing that doing a combat sport increases testosterone, right? So why all these fighters, like you can literally see in their face that they have high testosterone, right? It's because they've been fighting their entire life. Their testosterone is crazy high. That's why they can get in the ring in front of thousands of people and fight to the death. You know what I'm saying? So if you could do boxing even like once a week, spar once a week, that's a great ROI. And every man should be doing that. Every man should know how to fight and defend himself, right? And then cut off cheap dopamine. Replace it with positive habits. Guys, I had every single vice in the book, from smoking, drinking, beating off, social media, scrolling, all of that, video games, every single vice you can think of, I've had it. And until I replaced it with positive habits like going on walks, taking a cold shower, going out in the sun, training, right? Spending more time with women, going to social events, things like that, grounding myself, right? Until I started doing those positive habits, my dopamine never got back to normal, right? You feel, when your dopamine levels are fried, you literally feel like you have a cloud over like right here in your head. You guys ever wake up and just like feel like cloudy? Like you can't like focus on one thing. You keep forgetting what you want to do, what you want to say. Like you go to one room and then you forget why you're there in the first place. It's because you have brain fog, and a lot of that is caused from your dopamine, right? So limit the social media use. Stop beating off. That's a given, right? Stop staying up late. Stop smoking. Stop drinking. None of that is going to raise your testosterone. None of that is going to make you a better man. And all it's going to do is ruin your life and ruin your dopamine levels the same way that it did for me. So that's the biggest thing for your dopamine. Just going to finish it up with the supplements. Now, guys, if you know me, if you know what I'm about, you guys know that I like to do things all the natural way. Like I don't believe in protein powders, creatine, mass gainers, but there are some supplements that can help you out. There are some supplements that will increase your testosterone. There are some supplements that will give you more energy and give you that edge that you want. So one of them is Tonka Ali. You want to get 400 milligrams 2 times a day. It looks like this. This one right here. I have it with me right now. What I do is I take one capsule when I wake up, and then I take one capsule before the gym. If I'm hitting the gym in the morning, I would do like 2 of them, right? 2 of them right before the gym. This has been shown to increase testosterone and free testosterone, which is very important. And once I started taking this, I literally seen a difference in my energy. And not only my energy, I noticed my your social anxiety and nervous energy went down, right? I could go to any place. I used to have carry this negative energy with me, not negative energy, but nervous energy. I would have it with me. And then once I started taking this, I just feel way more calm. Like some shit could pop off somewhere where I'm at, and I would just remain stoic, right? Remain stoic because I know that I have it handled. My testosterone is high. I know I can defend myself. I know I'm good. Tonka Ali, do your research before taking any of these supplements, but this is what I would do if I had to build my physique from scratch. So maca root is the next one. Guys, maca root, take this very carefully, okay? Because if you don't have sexual discipline, this is going to make it worse, because maca root will make you a horny rabbit, right? If you're about to smash a chick, take some maca root. It's going to give you the drive, that extra drive. It's going to make you go for hours. It's going to give you that animalistic oomph, you feel me? But you don't have to just use it before sex. You can use this before the gym too, which is what I do. I take 2 of these capsules. This one right here, all of these brands is the ones that I use. Like the same exact bottle, 750 milligrams. 2 of these before the gym. I use that energy that I have. If you know, you know. I use that energy and I take it out on the weights. And then plus I'm surrounded by beautiful women because I'm going to a gym with attractive women. Bro, boom, boom. Like I'm taking out all that energy on the weights, and that's why I can push myself so hard and keep progressing. So that's what I would do. But once again, just be careful with this. If you don't have the sexual discipline, this can make you have even worse, right? So just be careful with that. Vitamin D, essential for every man. If you're going to take anything on this list, make it vitamin D, because a lot of us, even if you live in a place where it's sun all the time, a lot of us, we don't get enough vitamin D at all, right? Most of us are deficient or we have low vitamin D. And if you have low vitamin D, you will have lower testosterone, right? It's a proven fact. Vitamin D is literally a pro-hormone. Your body makes it as well, right? So it's like a hormone, but we don't get enough of it, even if you spend 30 minutes a day in the sun. So I would recommend every guy supplement with it. The amount that you supplement with is up to you. It's up to your levels. That's why I said get that blood work panel so you know exactly how much to take. But for me, I live in New York. It's winter time right now. There's literally no sun. So what I do is I take 10,000. 10,000 in the morning. I make sure I have it with a high-fat meal. You want to have it with a high-fat meal. That's the only way it can actually get absorbed. And then I take 10,000 before I go to sleep too. So I'm taking 20K of vitamin D per day. That may be a lot for some of you guys. That's what I do, right? And that's what I would do if I had to start from scratch. Because once I got my blood levels done, I saw that I am low on vitamin D, right? So this will help you out with that. Just consult with a doctor before you take any of this, right? Then boron. Boron, found in food, but once again, we just don't get enough of boron per day. So if you supplement with this is going to increase your testosterone as well. It's been shown to increase free testosterone, which is the better form of testosterone. It's the one that's more available for you to actually like use, right? Free testosterone is a testosterone you can have to use, right? So boron, this is the one I use. I would take 9 milligrams per day, so just 3 capsules of the 3 milligrams. Once again, just figure out what works for you. That's what I would take, and that's what I take now. And then L-tyrosine, guys. When I discovered L-tyrosine, man, my life changed. My life changed because I used to think I had ADHD, but obviously I didn't really. I guess I did, but it was because I was eating like shit. I had processed food all the time. I wasn't recovering properly. I wasn't sleeping. I was staying up. And then on top of that, I had bad habits that killed my dopamine. So those 3 things will destroy your dopamine levels. What L-tyrosine is, it's a precursor to dopamine. So for like guys with ADHD or people who are coming off of bad habits, people who are trying to restore their dopamine to baseline levels, L-tyrosine helps you out a ton, like a ton. And you don't have to take it forever. I personally take this 3 times a day, every day, because it makes me focus. This helps you focus a lot. It's like all natural. It's not like some sort of, prescribed drug. This is a supplement, and it's an amino acid. It's found in meat. It's an amino acid. It's a protein. But if you supplement with this is going to help you restore those dopamine levels. Once you're cutting off the bad habits, once you start eating clean, you're going to see a major difference. So what I do is I take 3 of them a day, 2 to 3 a day, and I do them right before like assignment that I have. If I have some work for the business, if I have to build something out, I would do that before a work block. But I also take 1 capsule before the gym, and it's gonna make you lock in. Like, you don't need no pre-workout. A lot of the pre-workouts that you take have L-tyrosine in it, and they have dozens of other ingredients that you don't need. You just need the basics. L-tyrosine is one of them, right? It's gonna help you like literally be tunnel vision inside the gym. People are gonna think you're on steroids because of all this stuff that I've told you about, but you're actually all natural. And then last but not least, I didn't put this on this list, but I would also take L-citrulline. L-citrulline promotes blood flow, and I would take 10 grams of that a day in the powdered form. It's also found in all your pre-workout products, all your pump products have L-citrulline. Amino acid, all natural. It's gonna give you crazy, crazy pumps inside the gym. Inside the gym and in the bedroom too. If you know, you know, right? Because it dilates your blood vessels. Helps you have more blood flow, right? More blood flow, better pumps, better recovery. So that's the supplements I would take. Tonkat, maca, vitamin D, boron, L-tyrosine, and L-citrulline. So that's the system, guys. That's exactly what I would do. Like the fundamentals of everything that I would do if I wanted to take my physique from looking like this to having my dream physique where I'm looking like this, right? And I maintain this look all year round. I don't do bulks. I don't do cuts. If you want to look like this is what you have to do, right? This is what I do every single day. But the thing is, this is great information. And if you apply this information, you will see results. I guarantee you. But the problem is, a lot of you guys already have the information. We live in an information world, right? All the information is out there. What we lack and what I lacked back then was the implementation. How do I take all this information and actually apply it into my life, into my schedule, into my routines, into just my way of living? How do I take this information and apply it to myself, to my situation? And that's why I have my coaching program. So if you want to take all this information and you want to figure it out by yourself, go ahead, have fun, do it, right? DM me on Instagram. Let me know once you're killing it. Let me know how much muscle mass you put on. Let me know how much body fat you shed off, right? Send me your in-body results. Send me your testosterone levels. Like, I genuinely want to see this stuff because this stuff will change your life and change your physique. But if you're like, listen, I appreciate the knowledge, but I don't know how to actually apply this into my life. And to be honest, I need the accountability. I need someone to hold me accountable to doing all this, making sure I do it every single day, stays on top of me, hops on calls with me. That's what I do for all my clients, right? I give them all the systems that they need to get in great shape, to stay in great shape, to keep taking their physique to the next level, to take their health to the next level, to become more attractive. And I hold them accountable to it every single week, every single day, text them, check up on them. That's what I do with my one-on-one clients, right? So if you're someone that you want that extra step, right? You want to take it to the next level and you want that extra help, click the link in the description, book a one-on-one call with me. We're just going to talk a little bit about where you're at right now with your physique, with your life, where you're trying to go. What exactly do you need help with specifically, and whether or not it actually makes sense for us to work together, right? But this is not for everybody. It's just for the guys who know what they want and are willing to do what it takes. Because I don't work with pussies, guys. I don't work with guys who just say they kind of want it. I work with guys who are actually ambitious, who are motivated. They just need the systems and the accountability to get it done, right? They want help from someone who's done what they're trying to achieve. They want help from someone who's made the mistakes so they don't have to waste time. They don't have to waste years of their life making those same mistakes and trying to figure it out by themselves. If that sounds like you, click that link in the description, book a call with me. The call is free just to get to know your situation, and check out my Instagram. I post daily reels. I post 15 plus stories a day, dropping free value on you guys every single day. And you can learn a little bit more about who I am, what I do, and You can send me a DM there, ask me any question you want. But I hope you boys found this video valuable, put a lot of effort into it, and I know that if you follow it to a T, you will get your dream physique. You will have a physique probably better than mine. Because if I knew all this information from the beginning, I definitely would be in better shape by now, right? But I had to go through years of inconsistencies, years of trying to figure it out by myself. But it's all good because now I get to teach you guys what not to do and what to do. So, hope you boys like this. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you boys in the next one. Stay dangerous.